Chosen one, you did not wake up to an ordinary day. This is not a random scroll, a casual moment, or a coincidence passing through your screen. You, chosen one, have been summoned. Not by alarm clocks or human schedules, but by a sound that only the soul can hear, a call from realms unseen, a bell that rings from heaven itself. Something sacred is moving in the unseen, and you are standing at the center of it. Your name has been whispered into the winds of divine timing, and this message has arrived exactly when your spirit is ready to receive it. You are not just living another day, you are standing at the threshold of a spiritual appointment, marked long before you knew what you were being prepared for. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, we may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. This truth resonates deeply with the summons you feel today. The stirring in your chest, the resonance in your soul, is not a mere coincidence. It is God's incognito presence breaking through, calling you to this sacred threshold. Lewis's words urge you to recognize that this message is heaven's bell, ringing to awaken you to the divine appointment unfolding this Thursday. This Thursday is not just a day on the calendar. It is not merely the end of a week or the beginning of another. It is a divinely orchestrated moment that has been sealed in the sacred timeline of your life. This is a threshold, a turning point, a doorway to something greater, and it has your name on it. You, chosen one, were never meant to blend in with the flow of ordinary time. You were crafted for divine interruption, for sacred alignment, for heavenly encounters. This Thursday is not for the crowd, it is for the called. It is for those who have endured the furnace of hiddenness, carried their faith in silence, and stood firm when all around them trembled. It is for the one who has been faithful with little and is now being entrusted with much. Do not ignore what is stirring within you right now. That quickening in your chest, the way your heart leans in, the way your soul seems to recognize this message before your mind can explain it, that is not a coincidence. That is divine confirmation. The shift you've been sensing is real. It is not wishful thinking or blind hope, it is a sacred signal. The heavens are leaning toward you now, chosen one. Your name has reached the halls of divine timing, and the gates are opening. You are not reading a motivational message, you are standing in the presence of a holy summons. Stay until the end. Let these words go beyond your ears and into your spirit. Let them awaken what has been sleeping inside of you. This is not just an encouragement, it is a declaration. This is not hype, it is a heavenly command. You are not just beginning a new day, you are stepping into a new realm, and it all begins this Thursday. If your spirit knows this word is for you, don't leave in silence. Type 777 in the comments as your holy agreement. Let it be your yes to heaven's summons. You weren't just scrolling, you were called. Mark this moment. This Thursday is not just another date, it is a divine turning point, written into the fabric of your destiny long before you ever breathed your first breath. You may not have known it, but heaven has been arranging this moment with exquisite precision. The timing is not random, and the alignment is not accidental. Every delay, every silence, every unanswered question has been leading to this. The stars did not merely align, they were commanded to. The doors that remained closed were not denials, but divine shields, protecting you from paths that would have drained your purpose. You were not being punished, you were being preserved. And now, chosen one, the divine is lifting the veil. The heavens are declaring, now is the time. You have felt it building, the pressure, the stillness, the weight of waiting. At times, you wondered if you had missed your moment, if the promise had expired, if you had failed the test. But let it be known, the promise has not expired, it has matured. The waiting was not wasted, it was working. This Thursday is the unveiling of what has been forming in silence. It is not simply a new chapter, it is a new dimension. You are not walking back into something familiar, you are stepping forward into something eternal. Do not underestimate what is unfolding. You may not see fireworks in nature, but the spiritual atmosphere is roaring with movement. The shift is happening first in the spirit, and your soul feels it even before your eyes can see it. There is a holy stillness settling over you, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is. This is how heaven moves quietly, powerfully, irreversibly. And when you look back, you will mark this Thursday as the moment everything changed. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because the heavens said, "It is time." Lay, chosen one, you have been carried through the fire for this. You have been hidden, refined, and prepared. And now, the moment has arrived. Do not look for thunder to validate it. Look for the peace that surpasses all understanding. That peace is your confirmation. That stillness is your sign. This Thursday, something sacred shifts and you are the center of it. You thought you were forgotten, didn't you? You felt the weight of isolation, the silence of heaven, the ache of invisibility. But hear this, chosen one. You were never abandoned, you were hidden. You were not misplaced, you were intentionally concealed by divine hands. The very moments that made you feel most overlooked were actually the proof that you were being protected. Heaven does not hide what has no value. Only treasures are buried, only seeds are covered. Only royalty is shielded before the coronation. Reflecting on the enemy's subtle tactics, C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape Letters, "The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts." This warning illuminates the isolation and silence you've endured. The enemy sought to convince you that your hiddenness was abandonment, luring you down a gentle slope of doubt. Lewis's insight urges you to see that your preservation in silence was God's strategy, shielding you from premature exposure and preparing you for the unveiling this Thursday. What looked like a delay was preservation. What felt like rejection was redirection. God was not ignoring you, He was guarding you from what would have destroyed the greatness forming within. He wrapped you in obscurity, so no enemy could assassinate your destiny prematurely. He hushed the noise around you so that the fire of transformation could burn undisturbed. In the dark, your spirit was being rewired, your discernment sharpened, your authority forged. While others ran toward the spotlight, you were learning to survive the silence. While they chased applause, you were developing unshakable roots. You have not missed out, you have matured in secret. And that secret preparation is why you will walk through open doors with unwavering confidence. This Thursday is not just a day of emergence, it is a sacred unveiling. The divine covering is being lifted. But you will not rise with confusion or fear. You will rise with clarity and holy conviction. You are not guessing anymore, you are walking in knowing. The same eyes that once overlooked you will now be forced to see what heaven saw all along. The same places that once denied you access will now request your presence. But you will no longer crave validation, you have already been affirmed by God. This unveiling is not flashy, it is holy. You are stepping into the new not with noise, but with authority. You carry the silence of preparation in your bones. And that silence is louder than the noise of this world. This Thursday is not about being seen, it is about being positioned. It is about heaven saying, now they're ready, let them rise. Chosen one, the old has officially been burned away. You may have sensed it for weeks, perhaps you even tried to cling to it, not out of rebellion, but out of familiarity. You felt the trembling under your feet, the loosening of things you once held dear. But hear this now with finality. The cycle has closed, and there is no returning. The bridge behind you has not collapsed by accident, it has been consumed by holy fire. Not your fire, not your emotions, but God's fire. The kind that seals a chapter so completely that the past can no longer reach into your future. The kind of fire that does not just remove but purifies. You are not being recycled, you are being reborn. You are not repeating another season, you are being rewritten. This is not a reset back to what you knew, it is an emergence into what your soul has long carried, but your mind could not yet imagine. The old thoughts, The old wounds, the old labels, they no longer have jurisdiction over you. The patterns that once chained you have been severed. The burdens that were never yours to carry have been lifted. The shame that clung to your name like a shadow has been dissolved in the light of truth. And the guilt that haunted you like a voice in the dark has been silenced by mercy. You are walking out of that fire unrecognizable to the past, but fully known in the spirit. What once defined you, fear, striving, scarcity, heartbreak, has no power here. This is holy ground, and it only recognizes what has been refined, not what was left behind. The former version of you served its purpose, but it cannot enter this new realm. You are not here to fix the old, you are here to build the new. The divine does not carry ashes into glory. It builds from resurrection, not remains. This Thursday, you do not crawl forward, you rise. You do not carry the debris, you carry the oil. You do not wear the garments of the past, you wear the mantle of your calling. Something deep in you already knows it. You feel it in your bones, sir. Strange stillness, a peace that defies the logic of your surroundings, a calm authority taking root in your breath. That is the mark of transition. That is the evidence of fire having finished its work. Do not try to explain it to those still tethered to the former you. They won't understand. You're not supposed to fit in that world anymore. The version of you that cried yourself to sleep is gone. The version of you that begged for belonging is gone. The version that dimmed your light to make others comfortable has been buried, and in its place stands someone forged by divine fire, refined, commissioned, and undeniably new. This new beginning is not a trophy handed out for your perfection. It is not a prize for getting everything right or crossing some invisible finish line of performance. No, chosen one, this beginning is far more sacred than that. It is not earned, it is unlocked. And it was not unlocked by your flawless execution, but by your heart's quiet agreement with heaven. You said yes in the places no one saw. You surrendered when it would have been easier to strive. You opened your hands when fear told you to cling tighter. You whispered faith when doubt screamed louder. That alignment, not with the world's systems, but with God's will, is what has triggered this divine shift. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis wrote, "We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea." This insight speaks to the temptations you face to cling to the familiar. The old patterns and wounds you held onto were like mud pies, keeping you from the infinite joy of this new realm. Lewis's words urge you to release the past fully, embracing the sacred unveiling this Thursday, where God's glory awaits your wholehearted surrender. Even when your flesh trembled, your spirit remained available. Even when tears blurred your vision, your soul stayed open. You did not run from the pain, you held space for it. You let the fire burn, and instead of cursing it, you let it sanctify you. You chose stillness over panic, trust over control, obedience over applause. And that choice, quiet and unseen, echoed through the heavens. Every small surrender became a seismic signal. The kingdom took notice, and now the response has arrived, not with thunder, but with clarity, not with a dramatic entrance, but with a subtle certainty that you are in the right place at the right time for the right reason. This is why everything that felt buried is about to bloom. The ideas you thought were forgotten, the dreams you buried out of survival, the hopes you silenced because the world called them too much, they were never dead. They were simply waiting for your soul to catch up to your calling. And now you've arrived, not because you pushed your way forward, but because you aligned with the rhythm of the one who made you. Heaven honors alignment, not noise, and your obedience has cleared the way for overflow. So do not dismiss the calm you feel right now. Do not second-guess the stillness. That stillness is sacred, that unshakable peace, even while circumstances around you may remain uncertain, is not illusion, it is the evidence. It is confirmation that you have stepped fully into the frequency of your future. You are no longer chasing, it is being drawn to you. You are no longer striving, you are receiving. This is not the calm before the storm. This is the calm after the fire. And from this stillness, your new beginning rises. That stillness, you feel it, is not random. It is not apathy. It is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of divine confirmation. Chosen one, you are standing in the eye of a spiritual shift so massive that the world around you has not yet caught up. What once provoked anxiety now passes through you without chaos. The voices that used to disturb your peace now sound distant. The rooms that once made you shrink now feel too small to contain your presence. You are not going numb, you are becoming grounded. What you feel is not emptiness, it is alignment. Stillness is how heaven speaks, when noise no longer serves your destiny. This calm in your soul is not denial or delusion, it is the atmosphere of divine transition. You're not at the end of something, you're in the birthing room. And birth is rarely loud in the spirit. It is focused, it is fierce, it is sacred. This stillness is where the final shaping happens. It is where your spirit adjusts to a higher frequency. It is where your mind and body learn to submit to what your soul already knows. The shift is done. Now you must walk in it. Do not rush out of this quiet. Do not panic because it feels unfamiliar. Sit with it, honor it, let it expand inside you. This stillness is not a pause, it is a platform. It is the foundation being laid beneath your feet for where you are about to be sent. You are not retreating, you are being launched. And when you take your next step, it will not be a step forward, it will be a step into divine placement. The calm you carry will confuse others. They will wonder how you walk with peace through storms, how you radiate steadiness in chaos. But you will know, this peace is not my night was given. It was birthed in the fire, preserved through the silence, and sealed on this Thursday. If this message has ignited your spirit, if you feel the sacred weight of this divine Thursday, don't remain silent. Declare your alignment and claim this holy transition by commenting below. I am ready for my divine unveiling this Thursday. I step into God's new realm. Let this be your act of faith, your bold agreement with heaven's summons. Share this message with others who need to hear it, for there are more chosen ones waiting to step into their appointed time. Write it now, chosen one, and let heaven see your heart. The gates are open, and your declaration will seal this sacred moment. This stillness is your signature. It is the sound your spirit makes when it is finally in tune with heaven's voice. It is the echo of your yes reverberating through time. Do not dismiss it. Do not explain it away. Receive it as evidence that you have crossed over. The war is over. The striving is over. The confusion is over. Now you move not as a question, but as a declaration. Chosen one, you may not see it yet, but every area of your life is now being realigned. The quiet shift happening in your spirit is not isolated, it is rippling outward. Your inner transformation is reconfiguring the atmosphere around you. What was once disconnected is now converging. What was once delayed is now arriving. What was once chaotic is being brought into divine order. This realignment is not small. It is not cosmetic. It is structural, foundational, permanent. You are not merely getting upgrades. You are being rebuilt from the ground up. Your mind is being renewed. The thoughts that once kept you bound in cycles of fear, shame, and comparison are losing their grip. Your vision is being restored. You are beginning to see with clarity what once felt blurry and unreachable. Your energy is returning, not the frantic kind that comes from survival mode, but the calm strength that comes from alignment with truth. The weight you've been carrying is being lifted, not just emotionally, but spiritually. This is not imagination. It is activation, and the change will not stop with you. Relationships are beginning to shift. People who once overlooked your worth will now feel your absence in rooms you've outgrown. Opportunities that passed you by will now circle back with fresh favor, not because you begged for them, but because heaven has put your name on them. You will not need to demand recognition. You will be recognized by what you carry, but here's the holy difference. You will no longer define yourself by who sees you. You've already been seen by the only one who matters. This is freedom. This is power. This is alignment. And because of that, your posture will change. No longer will you lower your voice to avoid discomfort. No longer will you shrink to keep others comfortable. No longer will you explain away your value just to be understood. You are not entering a season of striving, but one of standing. Standing in truth, standing in identity, standing in the authority heaven has quietly placed upon your shoulders. This Thursday marks more than a breakthrough, it marks a correction, a return to the divine blueprint. Everything that felt fragmented is now being drawn into sacred convergence. You are not chasing pieces anymore, they are being drawn to you. You are not hustling for belonging, you are moving from overflow. Your steps will feel lighter, your decisions are clearer, your boundaries are firmer, and your peace untouchable. Let no one convince you that this realignment is just a phase. It is a holy reconstruction. You will never go back to the version of you that tolerated dysfunction, normalized scarcity, or confused attachment with love. You've outgrown those altars. And now, every room you enter will feel different, not because it changed, but because you did. Do not mistake this timing as random. Do not look at the calendar and assume this Thursday is just another checkmark in your week. Chosen one, this timing is sacred. It has been arranged in realms far above what logic can grasp. This moment has been carved into eternity, reserved for you by the author of time himself. What is unfolding in your life right now was not hastily decided, it was designed with precision. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they were not wasted time. They were the choreography of divine perfection, leading you to this exact threshold. You may not have expected it, but heaven has been waiting for your arrival. This wasn't a last-minute decision, it was a long-standing appointment. Even in your confusion, the divine was clear. Even when you felt lost, the map was never misplaced. Every no was a redirection. Every silence was a setup. Every closed door was not to punish you, but to preserve what was meant only for you. And now, the doors are opening not one, but many. Not weakly, but with divine force. You are not stepping into a season. You are stepping into fulfillment. You didn't miss your chance. You didn't fall behind. You didn't fail your calling. You were becoming steady, becoming wise, becoming holy ground for what heaven was preparing to pour out. The divine never rushes what is sacred, and because you endured the forming season, you are now ready to carry what others couldn't. You were not skipped, you were sealed, and now the seal is breaking open. The promise is breathing, the hour has arrived. This timing is not gentle because it is soft, it is gentle because it is precise. This is the hour when the divine pushes you forward, not because you feel fully ready, but because you are spiritually aligned. The terrain may still feel unfamiliar, but the path is yours. The door may look too big, but it was cut to your exact dimensions. The invitation may feel overwhelming, but it bears your name in heaven's ink. This is the moment where the atmosphere around you shifts. The climate of your soul aligns. The invisible begins to take form. You are being ushered not by man, but by Godinto, the very thing you were created for. From this Thursday forward, do not look for evidence in the physical first. Watch what is rising in the spirit. Feel what your soul knows, even when your eyes don't. What begins unseen is always more powerful than what starts in the visible. This is the current of heaven now behind you. Doors will open without knocking. Answers will arrive without demanding. Resources will flow without striving. Not because you earned it, but because you have entered the appointed hour. Chosen one, your breakthrough did not arrive with noise or spectacle. It was not shouted from rooftops or announced in flashing lights. It was birthed in stillness, in the sacred, quiet places where only heaven could see. While the world measured success by movement, you were standing still, letting God fight battles that exhausted your understanding. And in that silence, something holy was taking form. The old version of you was dissolving. The survivor in you was surrendering. The striver in you was softening. The warrior in you was awakening, not through force, but through stillness. You did not climb your way, here you were carried. Every breath in the darkness, every whisper of faith through clenched teeth, every silent tear that hit your pillow became a seed. You were sowing obedience into soil no one else saw. And now, in this stillness, those seeds are rising not with fanfare, but with unstoppable force. The most powerful beginnings do not come after applause, they come after surrender. And that is exactly what you offered. Your breakthrough was not born out of performance. It was born in the quiet decision to trust when there was no proof, to believe when there was no sign, to keep showing up when nothing was changing. That kind of faith moves the heavens. That kind of faith rewrites timelines. That kind of faith is what heaven rewards, not because it was loud, but because it was true. And now, the divine is responding not with delay, but with release. So don't look for your breakthrough to come with chaos. It will come with clarity. It will come with moments of deep knowing. It will show up in your calm, in your strength, in your discernment. It will echo through your posture, your choices, and your words. You won't need to announce it, your peace will declare it. This is the moment when your internal transformation becomes your external reality. When what was being formed in secret finally reveals its fruit in public. You will carry yourself differently, not because you're trying to prove something, but because you know something holy has shifted. From this Thursday forward, never again question whether your stillness had value. Never again doubt the worth of your quiet seasons. The world may never understand what you endured in silence, but heaven does. And now, the reward is not just a new beginning, it is a new you, not built on noise or striving, but anchored in stillness. That stillness was the womb of your destiny. And now, it births your becoming. Chosen one, from this Thursday forward, you will never be the same again. Something irreversible has taken place, not in the headlines of your life, but in the foundation of your spirit. This is not a surface-level shift. This is not about appearances. This is a holy transformation that alters your posture, your perception, and your path. The version of you that tolerated the old weight, wrestled with the old thoughts, and entertained the old patterns, that version is gone. You have outgrown your former frame. You have stepped out of the mold others placed you in. What once fit now feels foreign. What once kept you confined now feels unbearable. You are not entering the next chapter. You are becoming the author of a new volume, and you do so with clarity, not confusion, with authority, not apology. You no longer move as someone hoping to be chosen, you walk as the one who has already been called. The voice of the old inner critic has lost its power. The fog of uncertainty is lifting. The burden of explaining yourself has been lifted. You are no longer begging to be understood. You are walking in divine understanding. You will begin to notice how different you feel in familiar places. Old conversations will no longer spark the same emotions. Old environments will no longer hold the same grip. The people who once doubted you will no longer define you. Your boundaries will harden, not from bitterness, but from discernment. Your yes will carry weight, and your no will not tremble. You are no longer available for what drains your purpose. You are no longer accessible to what diminishes your peace. This is not arrogance. This is awareness, a holy awareness of who you are and whose you are. The change will not be loud, but it will be complete. You will not have to explain yourself. The shift will speak through your presence. You will not beg for doors to open. They will recognize your name and swing wide. You are not the person who started the journey, and thank God for that. You are wiser now, stronger, softer where it matters, fiercer where it counts. You are not perfect, but you are positioned. You are not finished, but you are formed, and heaven has taken note. This Thursday, mark it well, write it down, etch it into the timeline of your becoming. You will look back on this day and say, that was the moment everything changed. Not because everything around you looked different, but because you were different. And that internal change made the external change inevitable. You will never be the same again, not because you finally arrived, but because you finally aligned. You are not returning to who you were. That door is sealed. You are not rebuilding the old you, are becoming the new, chosen one. You must understand this truth now. As you rise, some will leave. Let them. Do not chase what heaven has released. Do not grieve what could never follow you into the fullness of your calling. This rise you are experiencing is not gentle, it is rapid. It is spiritual acceleration. And not everything and not everyone is built for the altitude you are now being called to. This next elevation demands clarity, and anything foggy, draining, or divided will not be permitted to ascend with you. Some connections were never meant to last beyond your becoming. They were seasonal. They were sent to shape you, awaken you, challenge you, but not to remain. And that's not betrayal. That's divine pruning. Every branch that doesn't bear fruit in your future must fall away. You are not being harsh, you are being holy. Discernment is not cruelty, is protection. And in this season, your greatest obedience may be what you are willing to walk away from without explanation. You are no longer trying to fix what God has already removed. You are no longer giving CPR to what spiritually expired. This new beginning is too costly to compromise. It is too sacred for distraction. It is too precise for divided energy. And you, chosen one, have come too far, survived too much, and endured too many nights of silence to go backward now. Do not reach for what has already let go of you. You are not being abandoned. You are being refined. Let the drift happen. Let the distance form. Let the silence settle. If it's not aligned, let it go. What is coming is so much more aligned, more grounded, more sacred. New connections are on their way-ons who see you, hear you, carry the same frequency. People who won't question your depth, but protect it. Environments that won't compete with your peace, but cultivate it. Doors that won't require performance, but presence. And when they see you again, those who left will not recognize you, not because you changed for them, but because you finally stopped shrinking. You stopped bending. You stopped apologizing for your light. This is not rebellion. This is restoration. This is heaven placing its hand on your shoulder and saying, let them go. We have work to do. From this Thursday forward, you will begin to sense what is no longer allowed in your space. You will feel it in your spirit before your mind can explain it. Trust that knowing. Trust the stirring. Trust the separation. The pace of your rise requires it. The purity of your assignment depends on it. This elevation is not just about your next, it's about your protection. You are ascending, and not everything was meant to come with you. Chosen one. This shift is not just about you. It feels personal, it looks personal, it even hurts in deeply personal ways, but what is happening within you is far more expansive. This is a generational breakthrough, hidden in what looks like a quiet, personal transition. You are not just turning a page for yourself, you are breaking cycles for your bloodline. You are tearing down strongholds that enslaved generations before you. You are saying no to patterns your ancestors surrendered to. You are doing what others feared to attempt. You are becoming the blueprint, the first, the way shower. This is why the pressure has felt unbearable at times. Why did the loneliness hit deeper? Why the warfare wasn't only external, it was spiritual, ancestral, and historical. You were not just fighting for your future, you were contending for those who came before you and those who will come after. This is why God had to separate you. Why did he have to remove the noise? Why the process couldn't be rushed? Because this calling required precision, and heaven doesn't build a legacy with shortcuts. You were chosen not just to rise, but to repair, not just to succeed, but to sever chains. You are heaven's interruption to hell's generational agenda. The pain you've endured wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Your obedience has not only altered your trajectory, it has altered your entire lineage. The choices you make now echo through time. The healing you embrace now becomes an inheritance for those who follow. You are carrying something bigger than yourself, and heaven trusts you with it. Do not underestimate the power of what's shifting inside of you. You are restoring honor where shame once lived. You are restoring vision where blindness ruled. You are restoring truth where lies were planted deep. The weight you feel is not too much for you. It was custom designed for your strength. You are not weak for being weary. You are strong because you never stopped. You kept praying, you kept believing, you kept standing even when you didn't know why. And now you know, it was never just about you, it was about the generations tied to your name. This Thursday is more than your breakthrough. It is a bloodline reckoning. Heaven has declared, it stops here. The trauma stops here. The confusion stops here. The scarcity mindset, the emotional neglect, the spiritual abandonment, it all stops with you. And in its place, legacy begins, healing begins, clarity begins, blessing begins. You are not rebuilding ruins. You are planting a kingdom foundation. This is why you had to be refined. This is why the timing had to be perfect. Because when you walk through this door, you carry nations within you. Chosen one. Now that the shift has begun, you must stay attuned. You must stay open. The Spirit is speaking not only in thunder, but in whispers. You are being guided not just through major moments, but through subtle signs. Heaven is not silent in this season. In fact, it is louder than ever if you have ears to hear, eyes to see, a heart ready to receive. Pay attention. You will notice patterns forming where there was once chaos. Numbers will repeat tripled sevens, double threes, sacred confirmations coded in time. People will speak things you prayed about in silence. Dreams will become sharper, charged with divine detail. Words from strangers will echo what your soul has known but couldn't yet articulate. The atmosphere around you will begin to carry weight rooms, will feel different, moments will slow down, and timing will grow divine. These are not coincidences. These are breadcrumbs from heaven, messages hidden in the mundane. Glimpses of the divine are embedded in your day-to-day. Do not rush past them. Do not dismiss them as imagination. Every gentle nudge, every holy discomfort, every alignment that clicks into place, they are heaven's way of saying, keep going, you're in step with the plan. The veil is thinning. The realm of the Spirit is drawing closer to your awareness. You will begin to feel more before you think. You will know things before they happen. You will sense danger before it appears, and peace before the breakthrough. Trust that sensitivity. It is not weakness, it is a gift. You are not becoming overly emotional, you are becoming divinely tuned. Even déjà vu will increase, not as repetition, but as confirmation. You will feel like you've been here before because your spirit arrived before your body did. Heaven always goes ahead, and now your life is catching up to what was already set in motion in the Spirit. So, be slow to speak. Be quick to discern. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every door is for you. Discernment is now your defense. Peace is your compass. Clarity is your confirmation. Follow the voice within you that brings stillness, not the voice that stirs confusion. The Spirit never rushes you into fear. The voice of God leads you with peace. Heaven is speaking everywhere, through colors, moments, numbers, wind, pauses, and fragments of conversation. Creation is alive and responding to your alignment. Listen closely. Everything is talking to you now, because you chosen one ear walking in divine rhythm, and all of creation must honor what heaven has released. Chosen one, this is the day your story changes forever. This Thursday is not simply a new beginning, it is a divine turning point, a holy interruption in the narrative of your life. It is the moment where the old script ends and the divine manuscript begins. From this day forward, your life will no longer be defined by what you've endured, but by what you are stepping into. This is the chapter where heaven takes the pen and starts writing in bold. You will look back on this day and say, that was the pivot. That was the unveiling. That was when everything quietly, but permanently, shifted. Not because lightning struck or crowds gathered, but because something sacred within you finally aligned with what has always been ordained. This is not the beginning of just another season, it is your spiritual rebirth. You are not returning to something familiar, you are stepping into something eternal. The old is gone, the fog is lifting, the ground beneath your feet feels different because it is holy now. From this Thursday forward, things will begin to make sense. The puzzle pieces of your past will start locking into place with divine clarity. The heartbreak, the silence, the losses, they will no longer feel random. You'll begin to see how every moment was sacred, how every valley built strength, how every delay created depth. You will speak your testimony, and others will listen not because of your eloquence, but because your voice will carry heaven's fire. Dreams that once felt distant will suddenly feel close. Doors that stayed shut will creak open without force. Opportunities will arise, not because you chased them, but because you became the version of you that heaven has been waiting for. You will begin to receive what you once begged for, not because God withheld it, but because the time has finally come. This is divine release. This is accelerated restoration. This is answered prayer. And it is not just about the external. The deeper change is within. You will carry yourself differently. Speak with authority. Walk with knowing. Not arrogance, but awareness. You know who you are now. You know what you carry. You know why the battle was so intense, because this moment was always coming. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are aligned. And from this Thursday forward, your name will be whispered in rooms you haven't entered. You will find yourself favored in places you once felt forgotten. What tried to bury you will now have to watch you bloom. The same voice that cried out in secret will now declare God's glory in public, because this is the day your story bends. This is the hour your life ascends. This is the divine pivot, and it cannot be undone. Chosen one, your overflow begins now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. This Thursday marks the moment heaven removes the brakes, opens the floodgates, and releases what has been stored up for you, not as a reward for perfection, but as a release for your perseverance. You have been faithful through famine. You stayed planted when others fled. You gave when you had little. You believed when there was no sign. And heaven has remembered. This is not an emotional high. This is not empty hype. This is a spiritual shift, and the evidence will be undeniable. Where there was once blockage, there will be flow. Where doors were sealed, they will now unlock without force. Where favor once seemed scarce, now it will find you without striving. Not because you chased it, but because you aligned with the rhythm of divine timing. The very things you used to beg for will now begin to appear, unforced and undeniable, because you have crossed into appointed time. This is the hour of release. Do not confuse this overflow with material excess. This is deeper. This is the restoration of your peace, the renewal of your strength, return of your clarity. This is the moment when what was lost is returned sevenfold, not just in quantity but in depth, in weight, in sacred value. Divine partnerships will appear. Creative ideas will flow without resistance. The windows of heaven will open not just over your life, but through you. You will bless others without depletion. You will pour out and still remain full. You are stepping into a rhythm of holy abundance, where giving multiplies, where obedience accelerates outcomes, where you no longer burn out, you burn brighter. And let this be clear, you will not need to fight for what is yours. No more begging for open doors. No more exhausting explanations. The time of proving has passed. Now is the time to receive. Of standing still and letting the harvest find its way to your feet. Not because you are entitled, but because you have been entrusted. You are not entering a season. You are entering a dimension, a place where divine favor flows like breath, where you walk into rooms and things shift, not because you boast, but because you carry the presence. Your life becomes evidence that obedience brings overflow, that surrender brings acceleration, that stillness is not stagnation, it is strategy. From this Thursday forward, your posture must reflect your promise. Speak with the weight of someone who knows heaven is backing every step. Walk with the assurance that you were sent, not wandering, but assigned. Operate not from survival, but from sacred surplus. You are not fighting for your portion anymore. You are stepping into overflow. And it starts now. Chosen one, now that the shift has come, now that the fire has passed, now that the gates have opened, there is one final instruction. Walk in the silence of God. You do not need to explain. You do not need to prove. You do not need to announce. You carry something far more powerful than noise. Now you carry presence. You carry the stillness of heaven. This is the quiet power that cannot be counterfeited. The kind of silence that makes rooms pause when you enter. The kind of calm that unnerves the enemy and comforts the faithful. The kind of inward peace that speaks louder than any outward claim. It is not emptiness, it is fullness without noise. It is not withdrawal, it is divine focus. It is the silence that only comes after fire, after testing, after transformation. You are no longer who you were. You are no longer trying to become you are. You are the answered prayer. You are the fulfillment of promises sown in generations before you. You are the voice the darkness tried to silence, the light the storms tried to smother, the presence the enemy could not erase. And now, as you walk forward from this Thursday, you do not lead with emotion, you lead with authority. Quiet, certain, unshaken. You don't need to declare that something has changed. You are the evidence. Your spirit will speak for you. Your peace will confirm you. Your clarity will protect you. You will walk into places you once stumbled through and stand with unshakable grace. You will sit at tables that once ignored you, not as a guest, but as one who belongs, and you will not boast, you will bless. Because those who carry God's silence don't speak to be heard, they speak to release heaven. Protect this silence. Guard this stillness. It is your sanctuary, your compass, your anointing. This is where your clarity will flow, where your wisdom will sharpen, where your authority will multiply. Do not let the old noise seduce you back into distraction. You are not who you used to be, and you are not obligated to respond the way you once did. Elevation demands a different tone. This silence is not absence, it is alignment. God is with you in this silence, and that is enough. So walk into your calling, into your new beginning, into your overflow, not with noise, not with explanation, but with stillness in your breath and purpose in your steps. The atmosphere has changed. The ground is holy, and you, chosen one, are no longer waiting. You are walking, and heaven is walking with you.